Now, let's get into the part where things get more complicated. Ethics. It's easy to celebrate the global flow of music, art, fashion, and food. It can feel like a beautiful exchange, a way to connect, appreciate, and learn from each other. But once culture enters the marketplace, once it is being packaged and sold, we have to stop and ask, who is profiting from that? Who is being represented? And who is being left out or exploited? They are not only philosophical questions, they are economic, legal, and deeply personal. Let me start with a concept that gets a lot of attention, but is still widely misunderstood. Cultural appropriation. At its core, appropriation happens when the elements of marginalized or less powerful culture are taken, often without permission, compensation, or context, by individuals or companies from dominant culture and used for profit or trend setting. Think of fashion brands using Native American headdresses as accessories on runways. Or, for example, pop stars that are styling their music videos with South Asian jewelry and dance without crediting the cultures they borrow from. Or luxury brands copying indigenous wearing patterns and selling them as bona chic without acknowledging their origin. The issue isn't that people are inspired by other culture. It's that their original creators are excluded from the profit, from the recognition and storytelling. In contrast, cultural appreciation is about engaging with another culture in a respectful, informed, and reciprocal way. This could mean hiring local artists to collaborate on design, paying royalties, crediting the source, or involving local communities in how their traditions are shared. Some aspects of culture, like songs or films, can be copyrighted, but others, like traditional dances, healing practices, or oral storytelling, can't be easily protected by intellectual property law. And this creates a loophole that many companies exploit. For example, beauty companies have patented ingredients that used for centuries in native medicine without sharing profits or benefits with the communities that develop such knowledge. This is sometimes called biopiracy, and it's more common than people can realize. In response, organizations like World Intellectual Property Organization have proposed frameworks to protect traditional knowledge and traditional cultural expressions. These aim to recognize cultural contributions and give communities legal tools to defend their heritage. Unfortunately, at this moment, international adoption is still limited and enforcement is pretty complex. The other ethical issue is representation. Many brands and media companies have discovered that diversity sells. Global consumers increasingly want to see themselves reflected in products, ads, and stories. But here is a catch. Representation is not always empowerment. Take the example of Hollywood producing a film about an African or Asian culture, but hiring a mostly white creative team or casting non-local actors or telling the story through a Western lens. In such cases, the culture is a backdrop used for aesthetics but not shaped by the people it belongs to. This becomes even more problematic when these portrayals reinforce stereotypes or steer away complexity to make the culture more marketable. So, what can be done? And I can say it's a lot actually can be done. Some companies are leading the way with ethical cultural commerce. Fashion brand Brothers Valleys, for instance, works directly with artists in Kenya, South Africa, and Ethiopia, sharing profits and spotlighting traditional craftsmanships. Another brand, Matter, co-design with Indians and Southeast Asian artisans, ensuring transparency and respect in every step of the supply chain. Creative industries also have an opportunity to build fairer systems by involving communities in decision-making, shaping royalties, and promoting long-term partnerships instead of short-term utilization. Governments can help too by funding local cultural industries, protecting traditional IP, and ensuring international trade agreements include cultural safeguards. As we discussed earlier, in the 21st century, trade doesn't simply move goods. It moves values, expectations, and even identities. It influences how people dress, eat, work, and dream. In other words, culture isn't just something we send out into the world, it's something that is constantly being remade in response to global business pressure. A great example is how multinational corporations adapt their products and marketing to local cultures. This is called glocalization, and we talked a bit earlier about this. I gave example of Zara. When Zara, as a global brand, created locally tailored version of their clothes. Take another famous example, McDonald's. The brand is instantly recognizable, but what you find on the menu depends on where you are. In Japan, you might order a teriyaki mac burger or a shrimp patty sandwich. In India, where is a large portion of the population doesn't eat beef, the Big Mac becomes the Mac Aloo Tikki, a spiced potato patty with Indian sauces. The same goes for Starbucks. In China, the company offers red beans and matcha drinks. In the Middle East, its outlets often include private sections for women and families, and separate for men. Starbucks doesn't just sell coffee, it sells comfort, and that comfort looks different around the world. But here's where it gets interesting. These local changes aren't just about making products more palatable. Over time, they start influencing consumers' behavior, lifestyle, and even cultural values. For example, the arrival of American-style fast food in some countries led to the rise of eating out as a casual family activity, something that wasn't part of traditional culture. Or take Black Friday, originally a US retail event tied to Thanksgiving. It has now become a global phenomenon, and we sell in places like other countries, for example, Belarus, where Thanksgiving isn't even celebrated. Trade also shapes culture in invisible ways through infrastructure, technology, and logistics. For example, the global spread of smartphones and mobile data plans has changed how people communicate and consume content. It's created new cultural rituals, checking WhatsApp first thing in the morning, recording TikToks in rural towns, watching football matches on YouTube in areas without cable. Global platforms like Instagram have even created new standard, a kind of visual culture that transcends geography. Cities and cafes are being designed with and let me just say it correctly, Instagrammability in mind. Bright lighting, clean backgrounds, and late art, and this all now global cultural touch point. Even time is being reshaped. Globalization pushed people to operate 24/7 business clock, often different from their traditional routes. Night shifts to align with New York, London, trading hours, morning calls to catch colleagues in Singapore. Culture bends to the need of the market. With that, what is the end game? Some scholars worry about cultural harmonization, the idea that global capitalism is making all cultures look the same, that everywhere starts to resemble everything and everywhere else. Same music, same fast food, same sneakers. But others point to hybridization, where local and global influences combine into something new and vibrant, like Korean spring rolls in Los Angeles, for example, or Afrobeats artists collaborating with Latin pop stars. Trade shapes culture, but people also push back, remix, and reinvent. So, now we have traveled across all dimensions of this topic, from defining culture as a commodity to seeing how it moves, how it's sold, and even how it gets reshaped by global trade itself. It's a lot to take in, but this is where we pull it all together. And here's a big idea I want to leave you with. Culture is more than a product, but when we treat it like one, we have a responsibility to trade it wisely. This episode isn't meant to make you cynical, it's meant to make you cautious. Because when we understand the mechanics behind cultural exchange in the global marketplace, we can make better decisions as consumers, creators, business leaders, and even as citizens of the world. Globalization doesn't have to be sameness. With care, it can mean connectedness. For the next time, when you see viral dance, hear a new musical genre, or buy something labeled authentic, pause for a second. Ask, where did this come from? Who made it? Who owns it? And what is the story behind? Because in this circus of global trade and circuit of commerce, culture is both the tightrope and the knot. Let's treat it with the care it deserves. Thank you for tuning into Circus and Circuit Unraveling Global Trade podcast. I'm Kate Foronda, and if you found today's episode insightful, please share it with your network. Leave a review or message me your thoughts on LinkedIn, on Instagram. And until next time, stay smart, stay strategic, and keep navigating the chaos of global trade with clarity and courage.